Welcome. What is up, Mixer? How's it going? Welcome to episode number 5. This week in the Mixer, week 3 edition. We got a lot to get into. NFL was muy loco. So let's just get straight into it. I think I jumped the gun last week by talking about how unpredictable the NFL was with Fitzpatrick, Matt Breida, and Deshaun Jackson leading their respective categories, how it's unpredictable. And then week 3, the NFL teams decided to just forget the narratives, forget the predictions, and just result in some crazy outcomes that none of us really expected. Start off on Thursday night, the Browns got the win. Tyrod got benched for Baker. Baker came in, went for over 200 yards and a half, and gave the Browns their first win since they beat the Chargers on Christmas Eve in 2016 with Robert Griffin III. Yes, Robert Griffin III as their quarterback. Then Sunday, the Bills go on the road to Minnesota, not to Wisconsin, and light up the scoreboard early. I believe their defense is the reason why they won. I heard that their average starting position was from the opponent's 40-yard line. Kirk Cousins couldn't get anything done. The Bills circle their wagons, make the biggest upset in NFL betting lines since 1995. That's, I believe, during the first Clinton administration. So gives you a little perspective. And yeah, they went on the road, pulled off the huge upset against probably one of the more favored Super Bowl teams. And then we had Arizona leading for most of the game against Chicago. I don't really have too much information on what happened that game, how that happened. I guess Bear's gonna bear. But Arizona, like always, let them off the damn hook. Chicago came back, won, I think it was 16-14. I was scoreboard watching at the Charger game, so that was one that I noticed, thinking, oh, I can't believe that they're ahead. The Titans somehow get the win against Jacksonville. Jacksonville, who had just beaten New England, then goes down and only scores 6 points. What the hell is Blake doing? Losing 9-6. They basically didn't have a quarterback. I think Mariota to come in for whoever the backup is that got injured. And I heard he got like 18 rushing attempts. So they were just running a total college style like Navy offense. And yeah, so another crazy outcome there. The Lions then destroy the Patriots in the Matt Patricia revenge game, trying to get the approval of Bill Belichick, but we all know how this ends. All the Bill Belichick disciples, they get their one win against Belichick, and then they suck for the rest of the year. Maybe they make it another few seasons, like Mangini. I can't think of any others right now off the top of my head. The guy in Denver, Chase was his name. No, not Chase Daniels. I can't remember his name. Josh Daniels. Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. And then they just end up back on the Patriots in a few years. So we'll see how that works out for Matt Patricia. But yeah, the Lions take down the Pats 26-10 in convincing fashion too. The Patriots didn't look like they were in it at all. With all that craziness in the NFL, would the wine mixer results be just as crazy in week 3? Not really. Let's get right into it. Sean just demolishes Zach, keeps that train rolling, is just putting up points at an unbelievable pace. 213-80. 213 points to 80. Yes, that is the correct score. I had to double check it. I guess we still got the Elias Sports Radio to check in tomorrow morning, so Sean could get a few more points. But yeah, one of the biggest blowouts in Mixer history, one of the highest scores in Mixer history. hats off to Sean. 7 players on Sean's team went for over 20 points. Kamara went over 100 yards receiving on 15 receptions for 124 yards, putting up 34 points on the day. He got 60 yards on the ground in addition to those 124 yards receiving. Robert Woods was tearing up the Chargers secondary. They had no answer for him. He got 10 receptions for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns for 34 points of his own. Zach's team just had a bad day, to say the least. Brady only got 8 points against the Lions, who I could probably play defense for. Philip Lindsay got 2 points and he got ejected in the first quarter. Not a good look. I mean, at least he had some heart. Maybe he was fighting for Zach's team a little bit, but that's not going to win him the week. Not even close. The Vikings only get 3 points against the Bills, which is a plus matchup. You would expect the Vikings to at least go double digits against a rookie quarterback, but they only managed 3 points. Sean could have started Robert Woods, Kamara, and his defense and won by, I think, like 3 or 4 points. Crazy. Sorry, Zach. Sean put it to you this one. Your old rival. You got some improvement to do if you're going to want to get back on par with the league leader. Sean in Zach, nearly tripling his score, 213-80. Better luck next week, Zach. Circle those wagons. Next we got Jess versus Mason. Mason's been, I believe, the second highest scoring team after the first 2 weeks. How'd he do in week 3? Breeze, old reliable, 396 yards, 3 touchdowns, 43 points. Seems to be back to his old self after handing the ball off a lot last year. Saquon went for 17 carries, 82 yards, a touchdown, added 5 receptions onto that, and a 22-point day for Mason. Landry, 8 catches, 103 yards, no touchdowns, 21 points. Another solid day by one of the best PPR receivers in the league. Jess had decent production from one of her receivers, Adam Thielen, playing catch up to the Bills. He got 14 receptions, 105 yards, but no touchdowns, 25 points ultimately. And a hobbled Aaron Rodgers got 265 yards, threw for 2 touchdowns, and 22 points for Jess. Amari DB Cooper, not there when you need him. Never really there, if we're being honest. Just disappeared again. Looks like he came up short on a go route that he had the safety beat. Not exactly sure what happened there. Play ended up getting intercepted by the Dolphins safety. He managed 3 points on 2 catches for 17 yards. 3 more points than Seth Roberts, but still not what you expect out of your wide receiver 1. On top of that, for Jess, there was an off day for Chris Thompson. He's been one of the more reliable PPR backs for the past, the first couple weeks of the season and last season. He got 17 yards on 6 carries, only 2 points. So maybe add on a reception there. Maybe 2. He might have fumbled now that I think about it. I didn't check those stats. Regardless, not going to get it done for Jess. So Mason continues to roll. He takes down Jess comfortably, 150 to 110, moving to 3-0. The only other team besides Sean at 3-0. I believe the loss drops Jess to 0-3. So she's got some work to do. Next up, we got Jeff versus Anthony in the game of the week. This one was close. Anthony's making a habit out of losing close, unfortunately. How'd he do in week 3? For Anthony, he had Matt Ryan go off. My DFS quarterback, he won me some money this week. Thank you. 374 yards, 5 touchdowns, 43 points, 3 of them going to Calvin Ridley, the newest Game of Thrones member. Can't wait. I'm excited. He also had Gurley go for 105 yards on 23 carries and a touchdown for 25 points. Solid days from Anthony's, from the guys that Anthony needs to continue to perform if he's gonna make waves this season. For Jeff, Mahomes cools a little bit, still goes for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. He only threw for 3 this week. Jeff predicted 6, so came up short. Maybe a little disappointed with that 27 points. McCaffrey had a crazy day. 184 yards on 28 carries for 22 points. Something you wouldn't expect out of McCaffrey, but he's getting it done. They keep handing him the ball. Good things are happening. Will Fuller for Jeff, 101 yards on 5 catches and a touchdown, 22 points. Pretty good stuff for the wide receiver 2 on that team. Pretty good stuff for a receiver that Jeff drafted pretty late. Ultimately, Jeff gets more out of Connor, Golladay, and Kittle and Howard than Anthony got out of Tariq, A-Rob, and Lamar Miller. Unfortunately, none of those Mahomes touchdowns went to Tyreek Hill. Anthony loses close for the 3rd straight week. He goes down 153 to 145, the highest scoring team without a win. Believe he might even be the 3rd highest scoring team. That's just how it goes sometimes. But again, luckily we have that playoff spot for the 2 highest scoring teams that miss. So just keep putting up those points, Anthony, and the wins will come. Maybe not looking at a 1st round bye. Still a lot of the season left. Just hang in there, man. Next up, we got Matt versus Jake. Rematch of last year's Dirk Bowl. Jake got some solid production out of his wide receiver and running back stable. Zeke got 127 yards on 16 carries, 15 points. Kareem Hunt, only 44 yards on 18 carries, got 2 touchdowns. He's losing out on carries and snaps to Spencer Ware, something to look out for heading forward. But for today, or for the weekend, he did get 16 points on those 2 touchdowns. Davante Adams scored a touchdown in his 7th straight game, dating back to last season. He went for 52 yards on 7 catches and the said touchdown for 18 points for Jake. Jake had Deshaun Watson going on Monday night. Had a long touchdown called back for a penalty. I believe it was a holding call. Costly because this game was close. Fitzmagic continued to roll for Matt. He went for over 400 yards again, 3 touchdowns, scoring 28 points. OBJ for Matt, 109 yards on 9 catches for 20 points. Deshaun Watson went over 300, 2 touchdowns, 28 points. The difference in this matchup came from a disappointment in Kirk Cousins. Only got 12 points, 296 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 turnovers against the Bills. Just not going to get it done. Only got 12 points. You would expect Cousins to get at least 20 in that plus matchup against the Bills. He only gets 12. Difference about 8 points. Matt drops Jake again. Just like the end of last season, winning 138 to 131. Maybe your name should be fuck you Kirk Cousins, not fuck you Deshaun Jackson. All right, next up, me versus Danny. Danny got some good production. I don't know what year it is anymore. Adrian Peterson's still relevant. 120 yards on 19 carries, 2 touchdowns, 25 points. Also, production from Tannehill, spot start, waiver wire pickup, just he's the only guy left, but that's how it works out sometimes. Things broke right for Danny. Tannehill got 289 yards out of Tannehill, 3 touchdowns, 28 points. I got the week started off pretty well. Hyde Thursday night went for 98 yards, 2 touchdowns on 23 carries. Gave me a nice start to the week, but it wasn't enough. Garoppolo got me 24 points, had 2 touchdowns on 251 yards. He had some rushing yards in there as well. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL trying to be the hero and stay in bounds. I don't know exactly what he was doing. He was trying to cut to go back inside to bring the team back. I'm not sure if he was just trying to deliver some punishment on the DB that was coming to tackle him. Either way, he's going to learn the hard way. He's done for the season. We now got CJ Beathard for, I believe, 5 upcoming primetime games. So that's going to be fun. Get to watch CJ Beathard lead the Niners with Matt Breida as their running back in primetime for many weeks to come. So thank you, 49ers. But nothing compares to that with me losing this week. There was a slim chance for a comeback on Monday Night Football with Antonio Brown on my squad and Chris Godwin. Danny had Mike Evans and I believe a 30-point lead. So there was a chance, slim one, but Mike Evans went off. He had a good night. He got 26 points on 137 yards, 6 receptions, and a touchdown. Danny backs up his promise of scoring at least 130. He said earlier in the week, gotta tip my cap, give him that. He gets 135, taking me down 135 to 120. Post game, Danny did thank me for benching Tyler Boyd in favor of Larry Fitzgerald, gifting him the win when, in fact, Danny, you did enough to win, man. You just pat yourself on the back. You won. I didn't give you anything. You earned it this week. Don't sell yourself short. You won this week. You took me down. You got the win in your column. No longer winless. Keep it going. Nothing better than you in the playoff hunt. We'll see how it goes for the rest of the season. I'll get you next time. That wraps up the week 3 matchups. We had some craziness in Fab. By some craziness, I'm mainly talking about my bid of $351 to get Calvin Ridley. I'll take that very much. I just remember when it was Roddy White and Julio Jones there with Matt Ryan. Both receivers were wide receiver 1s. Kind of hoping for the same thing here. It's a risk. We'll see. Calvin Ridley looked pretty damn good. The Saints were pulling their number 1 corner off of Julio because Ridley was scorching him so much towards the end of the game. So that's the kind of respect that he's getting already. He got, I believe, 70 yards and a touchdown the week before. He looks to be the real deal. Let's hope he can keep it going. You never know with this small sample size, but $351 a Fab could end up being a value. That's what I'm hoping for. We'll see how it goes. Jeff got Baker outbidding me. Jeff got him for $81. I put in a bid for $61. So let that be a note. If there's a guy in waivers you want, you're gonna have to put in a bid to make sure you know you're getting him. When I put in the bid for Calvin Ridley for $351, I was pretty sure I was gonna get him. But after seeing how much Baker went for, $81, I wish I could have justified going up over $400 for Calvin Ridley. That's the kind of faith that I have in him. Even if anybody else's bid was $100, if I value this guy as a potential wide receiver 1, maybe, probably not, but high-end wide receiver 2, that's worth over $400 in fab, because there's just not that much that you get off the waiver. So a little free coaching there. Take it, use it against me, use it against these other guys. More importantly, use it to bring down your fab, because I don't have that much anymore. So please, like, just spend all kinds of money on, like, you know, like Baker Mayfield and like Sam Darnold's on waivers. Maybe he has a good week. Maybe he's worth 150. Just keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. Defenses also went. Packers D went for 44. Chargers D went for 26. So kind of gives you a gauge of the market. I was able to get Flacco for 21, contingency for Mayfield. So we'll see. We'll see. Joe Flacco unfortunately ended up on my team last year towards the end due to another quarterback injury. And but he did carry Justin to a title, so there's that. Gives you an idea of the kind of season that I'm having, where I'm having to rely on things that have worked for Justin in the past. 1 and 2, we're going up. Gotta go up. All right, that pretty much wraps up this week. Weeks 3 this week in the mixer. Oh, Luke Wilson, almost forgot Mr. Irrelevant. How could I? Dude had a day. What a day. 2 catches, 10 yards, 3 points. He's getting up there. He's getting up there. He more than doubled his season total last week. So good for him. We're rooting for you, buddy. We're gonna start making t-shirts or something. All right. So yes, that's it. We checked in with Mr. Irrelevant. We did all that. Got the recap in. What do we have for week 4? We have, I'm taking on Matt. Should be a fun one. Jake is taking on Sean. Can Jake stop Sean? Is he going to get budsawed like everybody else has? Hope somebody's got to take down Sean. We can't have him running away with this completely yet. Still early. Mason is taking on Jeff. Always a fun one. Zach versus Anthony. Maybe Anthony gets off the schneid. And we got Jess versus Danny. We'll check in with Mr. Irrelevant again next week. Check in with Amari Cooper. Maybe a little bit on the Connor fight. Hopefully there's some headlines there. Maybe we'll crown a champ in the fantasy playoffs for baseball. We'll see how it goes. Good luck in week 4, guys. If your team's not where you want it, spend that fab. Get it to where you want it to be. Send out those trade offers. Let's get it, guys.